In this video, I'm going to show you how to improvise over the classic Miles Davis standard 4 by using only 4 scales. Be sure to go to jefflewistrumpet.com and download the free PDF of this tune. And I have it all color-coded. When you download the PDF, you'll see you'll get the first page, which is in 4 color centers or key centers, tonal centers. And those 4 centers are in blue, F major, in green is E flat major, in red is A flat major, and in yellow is G flat major. If you look at the sheet, notice that very little of the tune is actually in the key of G flat major. Okay, let's actually go over the tune. The first 2 measures are in blue. We know blue is F major. We also know that the chord symbol says F major 7. So we can improvise using the F major scale. That's not to say we only want to play the scale, but that we are in the key of F. Then it goes to F minor 7 to B flat 7. This is a 2-5 in the key of E flat. Let's look ahead. The 2 is F minor 7, the B flat 7 is the 5, the 1 should be E flat. If F is the 2, you could think down a step. What's down a step from F? E flat. That's the key of the 2-5. In this case, it goes to G minor. So it's not a classic 2-5-1, it's a 2-5 in the key of E flat, and that's why it's in green. Moving on, we've got G minor 7 to G minor 7. In this case, we're going to stay in F and use the second mode of the major scale called the Dorian mode. Moving on, we've got a new key. We're in A flat because it's a 2-5 in the key of A flat. Once again, this does not go to the 1. It goes to A minor. B flat minor 7 to E flat 7 can be played in the key of A flat or 4 flats. Now we've got half the tune memorized. Try to visualize in your head, taking a visual snapshot of the PDF that I have. Memorize the key centers as opposed to memorizing F major, F minor, B flat 7, G minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat. Those are 6 different chords. We can think of 3 tonal centers, F major, E flat major, and A flat major. So we're simplifying the process here by using harmonic generalization. I find that using this technique is one of the easiest to use when I'm improvising over a song for the first time. Also, having my students do it as well seems to really simplify their thinking process and their improvisation process. Okay, let's look at the B section. This is where it gets a little weird. The first chord is A minor 7. Now normally we use Dorian mode to play over minor scales, minor chords in tunes and navigate that way. In this case, I'm going to suggest using the A Phrygian. Dorian is the second mode, Phrygian is the third mode of the major scale. If A is 3, F is 1. So it's coming from the F major scale. So you're going to use A minor 7 and you're going to use the F major scale starting on A. So A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G, A is your scale. As you can see here in the PDF that I have the chord and I also have the scale that you can use. I would really suggest after you've memorized everything, don't look at anything. Try to play from memory. Commit the tonal centers to memory, and so that you're just playing off book, right? You're just playing by ear using your knowledge of tonal centers and harmonic generalization. Okay, the next chords are A flat minor 7 to D flat 7, which puts us in that funky key of G flat major. Then the next 2 chords are in the key of F because they're in blue. G minor 7 to C7 is a 2-5 in the key of F. Look at the next chord. It's A minor 7 again. It's actually a repeat. These 4 measures are a repeat of the first 4 measures of the bridge or the B section. Then back to the key of F, which is a 2-5. Is it a 1? Well, what's the 1 if G minor 7 is the 2 and C7 is the 5? The 1 has to be F. And that is the case going back to the A section. So we've got a 2-5-1 back to the key of the song in F. Then it repeats the A section again. So now we've got 75% of the song. Now we just need to check out this C section, which is very similar to the B section. It starts in A minor 7. We know we're going to use the F, key of F, or F major scale, starting on A, which is the Phrygian mode. Then we go to A flat minor 7 to D flat 7, which we know is in the key of G flat major. Then it goes to G minor 7 to C7, which is a 2-5 in F, back to F, it's in blue. The bottom line is a quick version of the last 4 measures of the B section. So in 2 measures, we're playing 4 chords. A minor 7, which is in F, A flat minor 7, which is in G flat, G minor 7 to C7 is in the key of F. And then we've got a 2-5-1, G minor 7 to C7 to F major 7. A practice tip for this tune would be to slow down and isolate the problem areas, which for me would be the first 4 bars of the B section and definitely what we call the turnaround, which are the last 4 bars of the C section. I would highlight on the iReal Pro and just navigate through that section by itself, slowly being able to play from F major to G flat major and then back to F major. Of course, there are many ways to navigate through these chord changes and way more advanced versions, but if you're just starting out or even if you're an intermediate player, I think this is one of the easiest ways to think about navigating through songs by using, once again, harmonic generalization. On the second page of the download, you can see that I actually have the function of each chord written out over each chord. We're in the key of F, so the first chord, F major, functions as a major 1 chord. Major chords are Roman numerals in capitals, and minor chords are lowercase Roman numerals. In the third measure, you've got the 1 chord, because we're in the key of F, so now we've got a minor 1 chord, and we put a lowercase 1 there, which means minor. And then you can see it goes to a B flat 7, which is actually the 4 chord in F. F, G, A, B flat is a 4 chord. So it functions as a dominant 4 chord. The 2 chord is G minor 7, and G is 2 of F. And the second mode of the major scale, as we know, is Dorian, which is a minor mode. There are 3 minor modes when you're talking about modes in the major scale: the Dorian, the Phrygian, and the Aeolian, which are the 2nd, 3rd, and 6th. But I don't want to get too much into that because it can be really confusing. Go to my website, jefflewistrumpet.com, download both the PDF and the color-coded version of 4. I also have a backing track on YouTube which you can play along with, and you can slow down the tracks on YouTube if you want to work through these changes that are more difficult than other sections. Now I want to reiterate, improvisation isn't only about major scales and licks and patterns, but if you're new to improvisation, you're going to want to change your keys and your key centers as the keys change in the tune. If you're a beginner or intermediate, which of these scales looks more difficult for you? If G flat is more difficult, you're going to probably want to spend more time improvising in G flat, practicing your scale in G flat, practicing multiple patterns in G flat, major scale patterns. Major scale patterns, patterns in thirds, arpeggios, skip step patterns. You can come up with your own patterns. You know Clark, the famous Clark exercise number 2, you can do it in G flat. I mean, just looking at that fingering pattern, there's a lot of third finger, and our third finger is kind of weak, and it's just very uncomfortable. So when I look at this song and I look at G flat, I always remind myself, okay, G flat, that's an uncomfortable key. Probably want to spend more time in that key. Let's look at the first thing we should probably memorize, and that is the form. If you look at the tune, it's chunked into 4 sections, and the form is A, B, A, C. Each section is 8 measures. There are 4 sections. 4 times 8 is 32. Standard 32 bar form. Most jazz tunes are pretty simple in that they're usually either a 12 bar blues, AABA form, 32 measures, or possibly a 16 bar tune. So if you memorize the tune and you memorize an A section, you already have 50% of the tune memorized. In the A section, the chords are repeated the same way both times, and so is the melody. I always suggest memorizing the chords and memorizing the melody. I think the best way to do it is by listening to the recordings, of which there are 3 main recordings for this tune. The first recording was made by the Miles Davis Quartet in 1954, and the second recording he did was on his Workin' album in 1956. You can also find a blazing fast version on his live album 4 and More, which he did in 1966, I think. Yes, 1966. It's always helpful to listen to these different versions. You can get a lot of information by just listening to Miles solo, how he solos differently, how the rhythm section works together differently. The tempos are different, the sounds are different, the improvisation is different, how the comping is going on behind the soloist is different. And what I like to do when I listen to tunes is I'll listen to what the bass player is doing for a certain amount of time. Then I'll listen to what is the piano player doing. How do the drums interact with the piano player and how they play off of each other. It's like you're a fly on the wall listening in on a private conversation. There is some controversy as to who actually wrote this tune. Eddie Cleanhead Vincent, the sax player, claims that he actually wrote it and that Miles apparently bought it off of Eddie. Who knows? It's a jazz classic. It's a jazz standard. There are no vocals to this tune originally, and it is a good tune to call on jam sessions or on your set. It's a trumpet tune we like to play. It's in the key of F, which is 1 flat, which we like. In the next video, I'm going to go over how to navigate through that very bottom line, those bottom 4 chord changes, the A minor, A flat, to the G minor, to the C7, using 10 different licks. So look out for that. As always, thank you so much for listening and watching. Please feel free to comment if you have any questions. It helps the channel out a lot, as we all seem to know. All right, we'll catch you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.